Welcome back to Still Part of Us. We just got done chatting with Jennifer about the birth of her son, Nicholas, and I really hope you get a chance to listen to his birth story, because there were so many things that were just so glaringly hard to swallow of just what happened to you, Jennifer. So I thank you for coming back on, for coming and talking to us, and just kind of getting a little bit more of a glimpse of what these last few years have been like for you. So welcome back. We're
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. In a nutshell, can you tell us what happened to Nicholas? How long ago was he born? Just so that we have a little bit of reference of time.
Sure. So Nicholas was stillborn almost 11 years ago. We had found that he had five blood clots in his umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what week was he?
He was 33 weeks and 4 days.
Yeah. So you were already into the later trimester, and still just, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I always welcome when we have moms that reach out to us and tell us that it's been a number of years
Mm.
since they have lost their child. And so it's been 11 years for you. Um,
Yes.
and in the meantime, you have had another child as well. He's, I think, 3 and
Yes.
really a cutie. I got to meet him before we started recording.
Thank
But
you.
but tell me, I'd love to hear, Jennifer, for those of us that are still just only, a year out or a few months out or just a few years out, what was grief like, and how has that changed over time from early on to a little bit later, and even when you had your son too?
Sure. So in the beginning, it was very rough. Definitely. I will say, just honestly, just trust yourself, listen to yourself, and, the dishes and laundry and everything else can wait.
Yeah.
You just gone through something major, and, try not to be, too hard on ourselves as, women and mothers. And yeah, it's,
Yeah.
but I feel like, over the years, music has definitely helped me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of music, and sometimes it's, screaming rock, and sometimes it's, the sad country songs and everything in between.
Yeah.
And then, if you could honestly get a group of friends together every once in a while and have that support as well.
Yeah. Did you feel like you had a lot of friends that came and surrounded you and helped you through this?
After Nicholas had passed away, the hospital actually has a group,
Oh, okay.
um that the guy who started it, his daughter was stillborn 30 years ago.
Wow.
And so I had made two connections with two ladies, and, we're best friends to this day. And,
Mm,
we can go out and, talk about our, babies without the judgment or maybe fear of, other people's opinions.
mhm.
Or like, oh my gosh, it's, 11 years ago. Why are you still talking about this? And
Yeah, that is huge. I remember going to some early, support groups in that first year, and I'm so, so grateful for just not feeling like you said, you were worried about somebody just being like, "Why are you talking about this still?" Um,
yeah,
it's so nice to be able to be with other people that just kinda get it. They just get it.
yeah, absolutely. It's honestly, I feel like it's so, like, healing for the soul to be like, "Okay, I can talk about him
Mhm.
in this safe place."
Yeah. I think that's really cool. And did they have losses that were essentially this about the same time you did? Is that right?
Yeah, one of my friends, her boys were 2 days after Nicholas
Oh, yeah.
passed on.
Wow. That's it's nice. And then you can just talk about them like, "Oh yeah, they're turning 11 this year. They're going into sixth
Yeah.
grade, or whatever. I just kind of thinking about where they would be together. And I
It
like that.
it's so funny because we like joke around and we're like, well, maybe like they started a baseball team together up in heaven. Who knows?
That's so cute. Yeah. You never know. You never know how that's going to be. So,
I'm like,
um,
I hope they're being good.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh, that is awesome. And we were just talking actually a little bit beforehand about, so you have a 3-year-old now, and
yes.
we were just chatting about
Mhm.
how we would talk to our kids about the kid that came after,
Yeah.
about their older sibling that is no longer here. And so I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on that, and what maybe you've done or some things that you're going to try as you talk to him. Because we run into that problem because James, and so your son James now
Uh-huh.
is 3, and so is my son Felix. He's 3. And so it's they don't quite understand everything, and
Yeah.
it's tricky. And so yeah, let's have a discussion about how to approach that. What's the best way to tell them about their older sibling that's no longer here?
So I have found there's actually a book on Amazon that's called Still My Sibling.
Mm, okay.
And I tried to read it to James a couple times, but again, he's 3, so
Yeah.
he doesn't want to hear it all the time.
Yep.
But it's the little boy is like talking to his brother in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you were still here, we would go outside and, play fetch together, throw the baseball together. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like books, maybe a cute little stuffed animal.
Yeah. We were
Um,
yeah, I was mentioning that we have given our son a little stuffed animal, and he's named it his brother's name. And so he carries that around, and he sees my necklace. It has all 3 of our kids' names on it, and he wants to name off everybody on the necklace, and he
aw,
talks about our son. So, yeah, that could be a good way of doing it. It's just a little stuffy, or just talking about him a little bit more. And
yeah.
with your fiance now, I know
Mhm.
he is not the father of Nicholas. I
Mm.
Does he show support to you as in some of the, maybe some of the loss and grief that you might have? I don't know how long you've been with your current fiance, but is there any ways that he supports you in some of those times that might be a little hard?
So we've been together almost 4 years.
Mhm.
Um, I think he tries
Yeah.
to support me, but then on the other hand, he's like, sometimes I just don't know.
How yeah.
And some days I'm like, I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know what I need. And, he's there to with open ears as much as, I want to talk about him. And I've apologized a couple times and I'm like, I know I bring this up all the time. And he's like, it's okay. He's your son too.
Yeah.
So I've thankfully gotten pretty lucky with him being just supportive and, because he doesn't have to be. And then some days I'm just like, I don't want to be fixed. Sometimes I just need a hug.
Yeah. I think that's good that, well, I think that's interesting to point out that you said to him, "I just don't want to be fixed. Just give me a hug. That's all I need." And
Yeah.
expressing that you're like, these are things I need that will help me at this
Yeah.
current time. Cause yeah, we just don't need fixing. We just need you to sit with us and hold our hand, or give us a hug, or give me space to cry, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny
Maybe a
how
cup
that
of
works.
coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Can you help me, please? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Were there some things that people did after your loss that you were particularly grateful for? That they helped you out to give you that space, give you the help that you needed right after you lost Nicholas?
I would say, just their time. Honestly, just dropping everything and, just having an open ear and, just letting me, express my, hurt and anger and not judging me for it.
Yeah. I
I
think it's huge, the time, Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, my sister had a dog. So when we got discharged from the hospital, I went to my sister's house because, everything was set up at my house. And, I my sister let me lay in her bed, and she had a dog that didn't move for 2 days. She just laid with me in the bed,
Oh,
and other than to, get up and get a drink of water, she would wanna come back in and lay with me,
oh,
and if, somebody didn't open the door so she could get to me, like, she would whine,
oh,
and,
wow.
I'm yeah, she was the best dog
Hmm.
ever.
Yeah. I think that is I'm always surprised that when we talk to people how their pets know. Their pets know
Yeah.
something's up and they want to be of comfort.
Mhm.
And I think that's really sweet that that dog really took care of you. And it sounds like your sister took care of you and just let you be there because it is
Yeah.
hard to go back to a home where nursery
Mhm.
things are set up and there's
Yeah.
outfits and a lot of things to remind you how you don't have your baby.
Yeah, not long after that, our lease was up,
Mhm.
so we had moved out, and just packing away his stuff was so hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like, if it was there, like, I could ignore it, like, I don't go in that room,
Yeah.
and, when I finally had to really pack away his stuff, it was hard, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. It is. Yep. There's a box full of my son's stuff that I haven't looked at still to this day.
And
I just can't do it.
And it's so funny because it's like the stuff that I had for there's certain outfits that I had picked out for Nicholas that James was not allowed to wear.
Yeah.
Like, that was Nicholas's stuff.
Mhm. Yep.
And then, like, the other stuff, I'm like,
Yeah.
because they grow so fast that
They
it's
do.
like, yeah.
They they totally do grow so fast. They're weeds, those little kids. What were some things that on the other side were
Mhm.
not super helpful? Things that people said, things that people did that you're like, "You know what? That was not helpful." And I know you mentioned one thing at the time in the hospital when the chaplain came in and said, started talking to you about God and Jesus and being loved and you're like, 30 minutes ago I just got told my baby died. Like this is not the time
Yeah.
and place for this right now. Are there any
Yeah.
other things that kind of stick out to you that were really hard to experience after your loss?
So I've had certain family members make comments about, like, I don't know why you're upset he wasn't even alive. I've had the cliche, he's in a better place.
Yeah.
And like my thinking is like, oh, so he's better, even though, like, we're Catholic, we love Jesus, and we know one day we're gonna be up there with him. But it's like, and I know he's in the best place he can be, but it's like in my mom heart, like, he needs to be here.
With his mom. Yeah.
Yeah. And just the well, you can have another one.
Mhm.
Cliche. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. Nope, it's not
Oh, I
great.
hate it.
It's not great.
And then I've had well, it's been 2 months, get over it. And I'm
Don't say
like,
that,
I didn't
people.
fall down and scrape my knee, like,
Yeah.
my baby died.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yeah, it gets kind of brushed off as yeah, like trivial. Like you said,
yeah,
I just fell down and, scraped my knee. No, that's not what happened to me. You don't understand the how deep and hard and life-changing this was for me. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not a scraped knee. Yeah.
I feel like even though like, every year for Nicholas's birthday, like, we go and get I'm sorry, I go and get a cupcake,
Mhm.
and, like, whatever year he's turning, I'll get a candle, and then I'll
Mhm.
light the candle and then take a picture of it. So I have a photo album.
Of all of those.
of all of, his ultrasounds and then his birth and then, every year
Yeah.
for the birthday.
Yeah. I think that's great just to have those times of remembrance. Now, he was born over Father's Day weekend.
Yes.
He does that ever come up as kind of hard? I know that you're about to be you're going to get married later this year, and so is that hard? I mean, Father's Day is coming up here pretty soon in the next month at the time of this recording. How is that going to does that usually affect you when Father's Day comes around?
Um, it does. I try to kind of hide it because I don't want to ruin Father's Day for my, soon to be husband.
Yeah.
So I deep down it hurts.
Mhm.
But I kind of try not to show it.
Okay. Yeah.
And two, me and Nicholas's dad didn't have the best of
Right.
relationships.
Right.
So I do kind of feel like it was a slap in the face. But then again, my beautiful rainbow baby was born Mother's Day weekend
Yeah.
and he's the best.
Yeah.
So
Seriously, he's a cutie, you guys. um yeah, that's
any babysitters?
say again.
I said any babysitters,
I
call
know.
me.
I know. I know. When they're 3, you're like, "Oh my goodness, any babysitter that takes a 3-year-old is a godsend because they are rambunctious."
Oh yes.
We can both relate. Um, so I am wondering if there is any things that you like to do to remember him. Like, are there any physical things that you have? Obviously, you have his you have his remains in a little
Yeah.
teddy bear urn, which is wonderful, and I'm sure
Mm.
you have that close to you. But are there any other things that you do or that you have that are like a physical thing to help you remember him on a regular basis?
So, I have his urn next to my bed. Every time I go to sleep, I will say good night and
Hmm.
give him a little kiss. And then, so for Nicholas's birthday, every year we donate care packages to the hospital,
Oh, that's amazing.
and just as remembrance of him, and
Yeah.
it kind of, I guess, kind of shows James too. It's we help people in need even though it's, nobody wants the box, but
No.
it's there for when you need it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I think that's so sweet because I remember getting that box, right? You remember the people that I don't know, you have no idea who stocked that or who donated,
Yeah.
but you're so grateful for the people that donated, a little, a little blanket or a little bracelet or a little
Mm.
something to remember our babies with. And so
Yeah.
that's really cool that you guys do that for his birthday. I think that's really neat because that's a way to like remember him, have a legacy for him, and
Yeah. And it's like for me, like that's one thing I can do for him. I can't like go out and
mhm,
buy him birthday presents or
mhm.
buy him a new video game at 11.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's one thing I can do for him
yeah,
or from him. But
yeah. For others that are going to be going through the same horrible thing, and
yeah.
yeah, that's nice to pay it forward that way. Jennifer, this has been a really such an interesting and good conversation that we've had. And I really appreciate your time today. I don't want to take too much of your time because I'm just going to say that she has been working all night and we are recording kind of early in the morning. And so I do feel a little bad that she has not had very much sleep. So we're not going to drag this out too much. But I did want to ask you if there was any last bit of advice or anything that you want to share with others so that they can hopefully help somebody else that's going through this, or if you're listening to this to help them, a mom or a dad that's going through this themselves. Anything that you can.
Again, just take it easy and, don't forget to, love yourself,
Mm.
even though it might be hard in the first, couple weeks, months, years. It's the more people to love you, the better, especially in, these times. And like for me, in the beginning, I shut everybody out because, I was hurt. So, but yeah, just,
L Yeah, love yourself and
yeah,
let those around you love you and take care of you.
mhm,
I think
absolutely.
that is some it's g words of wisdom right there. Jennifer, thank you so much again for sharing Nicholas with us, for giving us your time, and for giving us hope that we can make it to 11 years after our losses. You just never think you're gonna make it. So,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
but I appreciate you being a person that says, "Yeah, you can do it. It's hard, but you can make it." So,
So one more thing, my amazing maternal fetal medicine doctor, when I was getting moved to the rooms, gave me a hug, and she said, um, "You'll never get over this, but you will get through this,"
yeah,
and that stuck with me every day.
yeah. That is totally true, right? Like, you're never gonna get over
Absolutely.
it. I mean, 11 years later, you still remember your son Nicholas, and you always will, and you'll never
Mhm.
get over that you lost him, but you're making it through. So, thank you again, Jennifer.
Thank you.
So, thank you again.
Thank you.